Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and today we're going to make a cute card project using the Woodland Friends Stamp Set, and there are creative cuts to go with this to die cut them out for you. When I'm working with a stamp set and I know I want to use most of it, I just tape the whole thing into my Misty and stamp it out, and I'll do it a couple of times so I have spares for later. Alternatively, you could use the Woodland Critters Die set. This is a favorite of mine, but I thought I'd do a little bit of coloring today. We are also going to use the Snow Globe die set. This is awesome. It's a great size. It's got some great little accents to go with it, but we're going to repurpose it, and we're not making a snow globe. We're going to make a fall globe. I've been imagining doing this for over a year, and I don't know why I haven't done it yet. Anyway, I'm starting with the base of the snow globe, and then there are these two little die pieces that I've cut out of some gold cardstock, some like matte gold, that I'm going to rim around sort of the base of the globe itself and then around the bottom, and it creates that illusion of roundness. Then I'm going to stamp a sentiment in the space in between. So I'm going to hold this up to the door of my Misty, or you could use an acrylic block, and I am going to curve the stamp to match the curve of the bottom of that globe. Okay, I have a sticky mat on the inside of my Misty, and I'm going to line up the globe and then I'm going to lay it down onto that sticky mat. It's not quite where it needs to be, and I don't know why I didn't move it. Like, I knew that. Anyway, I'm adding some anti-static powder, and then I'm using a little bit of embossing ink just to make sure I get a really good impression for that happy birthday. And I'll add some super fine detail white embossing powder on there, and I will heat set that. So again, it's pretty close to where I want it to be, but I don't know. I don't know. Once I get that heat set, I've gotten a lot of questions on like, how do you remove that anti-static powder? This is it. I think the brand is Pentel. This is like the cheapo white erasers you get at back to school, and I just erase it and it comes off beautifully. Next, we're going to create our scene. It's going to be a fall scene instead of a winter scene. So I'm holding the frame of my globe onto it, so it's all lined up around the edges, and adding glue just on the inside. And then actually this blue piece I cut using that same frame die, so it will fit in like a puzzle piece, and that's going to be the blue sky for my scene. Instead of snowy hills, I have cut two grassy hills, and the first one layers onto the front of the globe, the little frame that we're going to turn into a shaker, and then the other one fits on the inside, and you can see how beautifully that nestles up right against that strip of gold cardstock that goes around the base of the globe. It's so easy to put together. That is not always the case. I love snow globe die sets. I've used many of them over the years. This one, this might be my favorite. I have all of my little elements from the stamp set kind of laid out here to create a little scene, and I'm going to layer that acorn. So that's actually going to end up on the outside of the globe, and then I'm going to start trimming and gluing things down. Here, my little mushrooms, I wanted a little kind of in the background, but I still want to be able to see them. So I'm going as far to the right as I can, and then I'm double checking, making sure I know where my raccoon on my tree swing, a tree swing, you guys, how cute. I'll lay down my other mushroom that's got a little snail on the top, and then this guy will go kind of layered a little bit on top of that. I did not go all the way to the outside edges of this image with my glue. So my sequins that look like leaves are going to catch behind him. I like that. It's like going out and playing in the leaves and the leaves stick in your hair and on your clothes. But if you don't want them to catch behind, make sure you're bringing that glue all the way to the edge of your image. This tree, we're going to have to do some tree surgery, and this kills me a little bit, right? I colored the whole tree to cut off nearly everything but the branch. Of a note, if you wanted to use die cut pieces instead of stamped and colored pieces, the spring box card has a tree with a branch like this. So you could do like the Woodland Critters die cuts and then the tree from that spring box card. I've used both of those in a handful of videos. Love, love, love them. And then I'm going to put my little owl on my tree branch, and I colored in blue because it's my scene. I thought it was cute. I like that it's bright and it's playful. I am adding a very thin layer of glue to the back of the frame for my globe. And then I have cut the base of it out of some acetate, and I will lay that on there, and I'm being careful not to squish the glue towards the middle. If it needs to squish, it needs to go towards the outside because I can wipe that away. And then I'll just bring in my scissors and trim just kind of inside of that bottom edge. Okay. And that will create the acetate layer for our shaker card. And I'm just checking everything before I go doing anything else that's gonna be kind of crazy like this. I didn't want white foam around the edge of my shaker. There's a lot of dark brown cardstock, so I used a brown alcohol marker to color the edge of it. I also don't want my sequins getting kind of lost in the bottom, so I've carried that foam up along the edge of that hill, and then I'll put a little more at the bottom for stability, and that will sort of set that up to work really, really well. I have, again, these sort of leaf-colored, fall leaf-colored sequins, and I went kind of heavy with that. It is going to cover up some of our images at the bottom when everything's down at the bottom, but I kind of like that. It's like a little hide-and-seek, sort of find the hidden picture. My kids loved it when I showed it to them, so I've added a little bit of glue on top of my foam just to make sure I have a touch of wiggle room and I can get this lined up perfectly. Don't tilt your shaker when you're putting that on. I've got them leaking out the bottom. It's okay. We'll just sort of remove those and press everything down, and it shakes really, really well. And again, you can see already our little raccoon has leaves stuck in his hair. I am going to create the rest of our card. So I've put this in my scoreboard, and then I'm bringing in a piece of white cardstock to make sure the tips of the bottom of that globe, the base of it, are running along the same line. That way, when I go to score this, I know I'm getting a straight line instead of a diagonal line. So I've scored about 1/2 inch from the top. That is enough to me that I feel like I'll use my wet glue, my good wet glue, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to crease that and just get everything ready to go, and I'll add glue only on that flap. Okay, and then I'm going to line this up with the rest of my card, and I'm going to press that down. If I had this to do over, I might add that card base on the back before I add the shaker, because right now I'm trying to press on acetate, or not press on acetate, but still get it secure. It works, but it's a little harder. That finishes up our card for today. We have a little fall shaker scene. I hope you like this. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Pixie Dust channel. We'd love to have you, and I will see you next time.